We are back in our backtrack box here, and what I'm going to do now, we've intercepted Clark's username and credentials, and because of our footprinting and enumeration steps we took earlier, we know that there was an XP box with an FTP server running on it, and now we sniffed that box for a while and we got credentials. So let's go ahead and see if we can get Clark's secret file. So we're just going to FTP to that same box. But before we do that, if you remember correctly from our tour on Backtrack, there is a directory called Pen Test here. And we can take advantage of this whole scenario by looking in our Windows binaries. And in there we have tools. Let's go to tools. And we have something called netcat in there, nc.exe, and that's a known Trojan, and that basically will get us a connection into the box later. We can use that to take control of the box and start siphoning files off the box. So we're going to push that up to FTP if we possibly can, now that we can get to the box, get Clark's secret text file, and take advantage of this open channel we have and get netcat on the box. So we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and FTP 192.168.163.129. Okay, and we're being prompted for a username. We're going to go with Clark. Password, which we know is I love Lois, as we saw it in the capture, and we're logged on. So we do a directory, cd Clark, do an ls again, and we're going to grab his secret text file. Okay, we've grabbed it. Now while we're in the box, like I said, we take advantage of this opportunity as a hacker. So we're going to put nc.exe in Clark's directory, and we're going to put it there for later so we can take advantage of that, because they may lock down the FTP server or change the password or something. But now we've got a backdoor in. All now we have to do is get netcat configured and get it run on the box, and we have a tunnel into the box now. So let's quit, and of course we have the secret text here in the file. So if we didn't know by now, we now know what Clark's secret is. I'm really Superman. Okay, so we've got some information on Clark now. The one thing I want to do also is switch to the Windows box and show you the log files. And a smart administrator will look at their log files, especially if they're running a server that people are connecting to, especially if it's an FTP server. So let's go ahead and switch to our Windows VM, and I'll show you the log files for the FTP server. Okay, we're in our Windows XP box, and we see something disturbing. The FileZilla server did not log any connections, so logging is not turned on. So you can add that to the long list of security issues we've already seen. Now let's go through those and see what they might be. First of all, we're using FTP. We know that's bad right out the gate because the FTP protocol sends everything in clear text. And if you sniff it, you can pick up anything you want. And we did. We picked up user credentials so we could go and steal a file. Problem number 2 is Clark did not have a complex password. Now in this case, it was all lowercase letters and it was dictionary names. And we know that's bad. It's dictionary words. Number 3 is that this is sitting on a Windows XP box, so you're using a Windows XP box as a server. Well, that's a bad thing because it's not designed to be a server. Now, even if Clark had used complex passwords, since they were using an FTP protocol that's in clear text, it wouldn't have mattered. Even a complex password could have been intercepted. Add to this list is that the FTP server is not logging. Now, let's see if Windows is actually logging. See if we can add insult to injury here. Let's go into Control Panel and Administrative Tools, and we can look at Event Viewer, and let's look at the security logs, and there's no log files. So auditing is not even being done on the box. So it would be almost impossible for an administrator to tell that someone had logged in and grabbed that file. Had they been logging, they might have shown that Clark logged in, grabbed the file, and got off. And then the log would have shown that someone else logged in from a different IP address and grab the file. And that would have caused the administrator to scratch their head and say, hey, something funny is going on here. But that didn't happen, and the hacker went undetected because no logging, no auditing. So add that to a long laundry list of bad things security-wise that are going on in this scenario. So we see how sniffing works for hackers. We see what they can do with sniffing. They can get credentials. Now, obviously, this was a very simplistic demo, but you do see, believe it or not, these exact scenarios out in the real world. Possibly not all at once, but you will see people using FTP, you will see people using Windows XP, you will see people using non-complex passwords, and you'll see a lot of systems where auditing is simply not turned on and the administrator doesn't pay attention to it. So combine all that, and sniffing actually makes for a very easy attack and very profitable for the hacker. So that was a demonstration on sniffing, as well as a few other security flaws to show you why security is important.